What's up, everybody? It's time to do a little repair and maintenance on my lawnmower. Mowing the yard the other day, and I kept hearing something popping and cracking every time I'd hit a bump. The way the seat's made, it's got a couple of springs for suspension. At least that's what they call it. But in the front, it's just got a hinge which holds the seat. I'm not sure how well you can see that right there, but that's a crack in the metal on both sides. So what's happened, not sure how well you can see it, the sheet metal that this is bolted to has pretty much just given up the ghost. This thing's about 5 years old. I don't know how many hundreds of hours I got on it, but that's kind of a poor way to mount the seat just through the sheet metal, and it's pretty thin sheet metal too. So what I got to do is pull the seat off of here, take the battery out so I can gain access underneath of it, and weld that back together, and then put some sort of a piece of plate steel or something in there for a stiffener to bolt the seat back to. I don't want to be coming around one of these hills on my yard and go sliding off this thing. The lawnmower would stop, but that wouldn't keep me from getting hurt. So when I get it disassembled, I'll bring you guys back. See you in a few. Wow, that yeah, there wasn't much left of that. I can't believe that they bolt the seat. This has got to be, I don't know, 20 gauge at best. This stuff is super thin. And that's what the seat hinges on. Back here where the spring's set for the suspension, this is actually the back of the frame, which goes out to right here. But unfortunately, I guess, you know, going around the hills and stuff, you put weight at some point on this edge, because it's even cracked right here beside the frame on this side. And it's starting to develop a crack on this side, which is just right outside the edge of the frame, which kind of goes like right back in here. Okay, I'm going to have to take a hammer and dolly and bring all this back up flat. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it's, oh, sorry for the extreme close-up there. It's definitely dented down quite a bit. I'll have to bring that up flat with this surface. And then I think I'm going to take a piece of either angle iron or a piece of bar stock, run that across from side to side. I'm not sure how well you can see the frame rail is, where's that, right there, right below that. I may try and weld a piece from the bottom of the frame rail up here to support that, so that way it's got some support, because I mean there's literally, well, you can't see, it's too dark, there's nothing under here. I mean that's just the sheet metal housing, and that's what they had the seat resting on. I mean this stuff, move you back here, I mean you can see how flexible this stuff is. It's terrible. I think I would have done a little bit better job designing that if it were me, but of course I guess they don't expect, you know, 220-pound guys like me to be riding this thing for 3 and 4 hours at a time. Anyway, I want to get some cleanup done on this and try and get it hammered and dollied, and I'll bring you back when I show you what I got set up to weld. See you in a few. Okay, I got everything kind of cleaned up to where I could start getting a few tacks on it and start pulling stuff back together. It's distorted so bad, even hammering on it doesn't really bring it back into alignment. I went out to the end of where all the cracks were, drilled some stress relief holes so that it wouldn't keep traveling. That was a pretty big one there. It was actually a chunk of metal came out when I drilled that one. And of course that one, since it ran all the way out to the edge, doesn't matter anyway. And then I found another one when I was cleaning the paint off the backside that was started up in that direction. I cleaned everything off both sides so it wouldn't pull crap into the welds. I'm going to try to tack it from the front to kind of get everything lined back up. See this one right here, you can't even pull it down into position until I get a couple of tacks over here on this side and start pulling the stuff back in. I hammered it and it just bounces up and down. I got this one down pretty flat. I'm going to put a few tacks right here along this edge to kind of hold that in place so I can kind of get this back down in there a little bit flatter. Just kind of work my way around it. This stuff's so thin I'm going to have to really watch or it'll blow through like tissue paper. But anyway, that's kind of where I'm at this point. It's going to be 90 degrees plus here today. and I'm in the garage welding. But luckily I've got the AC and the fan on. I've got the garage door closed. But anyway, I'm going to get this thing packed together and cleaned up. Hopefully get it welded together and get it done, because I got to mow my yard today. I'll see you in a few. Take care. Well, I think I figured out what the problem was. Oh, hang on a minute. Let me turn the radio off. The way they had this thing made, they only had one cross support back here at the back, which is what the springs rested on, that the seat was for the suspension. But in the front, the actual hinge for the seat that held everything in place was just into the sheet metal. There was a couple of holes in the front of the frame here where they could have put a bracket like this one, but I guess that saved them a few bucks. So I had some of this galvanized unistrut. I folded it up to match this one in the back pretty close. I'm a little bit off on my dimensions there. I think I may have to trim that some, but I bolted it in place and got everything kind of lined up here, and got everything to where it lines up with the bolt holes. And now I've got to where the seats, well, I have to cut that one out a little bit more, looks like. We'll line up and bolt through that, and then the seat will actually have something to rest on instead of just that sheet metal. That wasn't a very good design. But anyway, I've overcome it now. I got all the welding done on the sheet metal here. It's ugly but strong. And I did it from both sides. I burned through from the front, make sure I had good penetration, and went in the back and cleaned it up. And looked for daylight for pinholes, and welded everything again from this side. I've still got to wipe everything down with some mineral spirits or lacquer thinner and get some primer and some paint back on it. This is galvanized, but I may go ahead and throw a coat of primer on it as well, just to keep it from rusting. It's just mocked up right now. I've still got to tighten my fasteners and stuff down. I just wanted to make sure everything was going to line up before I bolted everything down and put the Loctite on there. I was going to put lock washers on, but due to the fact of the way there was a couple of bolts in the frame right here that went through into the frame rail, I couldn't put this bolt with the threads going down. It would hit that bolt, so I had to loosen this up, then run the bolt through from the bottom and put the nut on the top. And there's not hardly enough room to get a washer on there, so I'll just have to use some Loctite. It'll be fine. Same thing on this side. I had to back this bolt off and then run this bolt up through from the top, and then tighten that bolt back up. It actually works kind of well because it holds this one up into place so it doesn't fall out. But yeah, that's kind of a weird setup. I guess that's made for light duty for homeowners and stuff. They don't use one like a bush hog like I do. Then the fronts of the fenders actually, well, get it out of here, it's on the shaky cam, bolt to the rear of the foot treads. But I got to looking whenever I pulled this off, and you see that right there? That's the start of a crack. So there's 3 bolts that hold this onto the side of the mower frame. Now I guess I'm going to be pulling those off because there's one on the opposite side as well. It's actually a little bit worse. And put a stiffener in that and weld that up. And then maybe I can put this thing back together. I've been working on this thing since, let's see, what time it is. Wow. 4 hours. And that's all I've got done was just cut all this stuff loose, hammer it back into place, weld it. This thing took quite a while to fabricate that. I had to do it all dry. I didn't want to try and heat it because of the galvanized fumes. I thought about welding the pie cuts on the front of it, but there again, because of the galvanized, I didn't particularly want fume fever off of this stuff. And besides, this is far greater strength than the other stuff that's on there. I think I am going to take and trim that off just a little bit so it's not hitting on the side of that frame rail. And then get everything primed and ready to go back together. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a chance to prime or get it all put together and get my yard mowed today or not. Like I said, it's getting late, and we've got places we need to be this evening, so I guess I'll work on this. When I get it done, I'll finish the video up, and I'll bring you guys back later. Take care. See you. Well, it turns into one of those while you're at it deals. I got the fender all welded back together. Took some Rust-Oleum paint I had, painted everything up inside and out so it wouldn't rust. Got the bracket fabricated, bolted down and painted. Then got to notice in the rear corners of the steps or the treads or the footholds, whatever you want to call them, where they mounted to the rear fender, had cracks right here in the corner. So I took both of those off, which entailed unbolting it from the side of the tractor, ground the cracks down, drilled a couple of holes in the edges of the splits, welded those back up from the top and the bottom, sanded them, ground them clean, primed them. Again, with some of the same black Rust-Oleum. I didn't have anything even close to the size of the color of the tractor. So I got that one painted, and I got this one just finished priming and painting it inside and out. And we'll probably stick them back on there tomorrow and get everything put back together to get my yard cut. All in all, this has been about a 6-hour ordeal. This is the second day working on it. Still got to get some cleaner and clean all the ick and stuff off of here. This thing sits underneath my carport, but that still doesn't keep the dust and everything from landing on it. So I took some, I can't remember what this stuff is now. Let's see, it's, yeah, some stuff I got like at a discount outlet store. Sprayed on there and took a scrub brush and scrubbed a little bit of it, and it came off pretty good. So I'll get everything put back together, pull it outside, give it a good bath, wash everything, grease everything, and maybe even put a coat of wax on it. I don't know if the old girl can handle that or not. Too much stuff happening at one time, make her clean and shiny and all greased up, it'll probably blow the engine. So that's kind of what's been going on here. Not a lot of work on anything else, just trying to keep everything running at work, trying to keep my grass cut here. That's about it. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. See ya.